Then there's this other thing going on with Venezuela. I swear anything the Trump administration tries to do is to the Democrats, the liberals, the mentally ill. Everything he tries to do is the most awful thing in the world. The most terrible thing anyone can do is what Trump is doing, or at least trying to do, before he's thwarted by liberal judges and corrupt politicians and all the bullshit that he has to go through to try to do things like maybe whittle down the amount of drugs coming into this country. I know it's futile. The war on drugs, the borders. I mean, as far as drugs go, they're not secure. They're coming in from everywhere. But Mexico and South America and Central America, a lot of drugs come up that way. And when you use these judicial means that America has been using over the course of forever, remember Just Say No? Arresting cartel leaders. Yeah, and then they give a bunch of money and they tunnel out, or they just set up an amazing palatial mansion as a prison, and then they run the cartel from the prisons. Oh, we confiscated this many drugs at the border, and the people that dropped it off, they made their way back already, and they're setting up the next shipment to take the place of the one that they got confiscated. So that war on drugs, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. You know how the cartels get things done? And do you know how the cartels keep their people in line and keep their people doing exactly what they want them to do? One word, my friends: fear. Fear. They are scared shitless of the cartel leaders. And they know if they slip up, their heads, their families' heads, kids, their pets are up on pikes. That's fear, and that is a strong influencer when it comes to people in the drug business. You think they're afraid of a Just Say No commercial years ago? Or a couple of eggs in a pan, and this is your brain on drugs, and Ronald Reagan, Nancy Reagan, and Mr. T on an episode of Different Strokes? You think it was like, oh, Jefe, what do we do? It's Nancy Reagan and Mr. T. We cannot possibly compete against that. We must close up shop. No more cocaine. I don't think so. You know what's scary to them? In the dead of night, running a powerboat with so much fucking narcotics, drugs loaded on this thing. And you can't see anything. Wah, the sound of the motors. Wah. And you're going, when is the missile blowing my fucking boat up? Killing me and my fucking compadres, whatever the word is. That's fear. That is fucking fear. And I don't care who you are. The drug mole, a fucking smuggler. And I don't care what cartel leader is telling you, you have to do this. You are going to be fucking scared. And if there is a way that you do not have to do this, you will take that way. Eventually, enough people will not be willing, and even the cartel leaders will not be willing to just forfeit so much product and so many of their employees like that, to something like that. This isn't an arrest where you hire the best Mexican lawyer. He goes up, gets him out, and he's, or they deport him, and he's back in Mexico getting pats on the back and loading up another fucking plane or boat or what have you to come to this country with drugs. Fear is the greatest thing. And these strikes on these boats are scaring the shit out of the people that need to get on these boats. So is it technically cutting down on the amount of product coming in? All right, you blew up 6 boats. Each boat carries this much, but this is how much is coming in. Holy shit, it's nothing. It's a grain of sand on a beach. Yeah, but it's the fucking terror aspect. It's terrorizing the terrorists. It's that look up when they're going out on their boat. That fucking, what did I hear? What was that? That will prevent more product from coming in than actually destroying the boats and then subtracting that much product from what comes in. So I'm all for it. I love it. But of course, the Democrats, the liberals, the TV shows, The View, that all of them have to have a huge problem. They become so empathetic to the worst fucking people in the world. When Trump wants to strike back at drug lords and drug dealers and the coyotes that were taking illegals across the border before he sealed up the fucking border. And that was another thing they couldn't stand and to this day can't stand. The deportations. They hate the deportations. Doesn't matter if they're murdering people with guns, knives, or tractor trailers. They want them in this country, and they'll look you in the face and tell you that these immigrants, illegal aliens, are the greatest thing for this country, the biggest plus. They bring so much as they're plowing into fucking lines of people on freeways, raping and stabbing people, and the greatest people. And then Donald Trump does something, says something, and he is a terrible person. And that's what you're going to hear on the news. So what we got here? We got Sunny Hostin from The View. And, of course, she has a problem with Pete Hegseth and his war on these drug boats. These are boats coming into this country and distributing things that are killing Americans. Oh, what are they getting off with guns? And they have their faces made up and they're shooting people. And no, but people are dying just as much as that. What's the difference? What's the difference if a boat hits our shores loaded with deadly drugs that are killing Americans, or it's loaded with Venezuelans holding guns, shooting Americans when they get off the boat? It's semantics at that point. And the idea of using the military to confront this threat with deadly force, it makes perfect sense to me. Since we look at this pussy-ass drug war that's been going on for decades with nothing, no effect. And now we're seeing blow them up. What a great idea. But Sunny Hostin from The View, she has her take on it. And let's watch.
I can't speak to the law of it. I don't know. I'm not a geopolitical expert.
Good.
But in terms of the law of it, you're right, Sarah. That is why those Army vets explained do not follow. You do not have to follow illegal orders. You know why? Because if this is deemed to have been war crimes, which by all accounts right now, there are 7 sources that said Pete Hegseth did say kill them all, even after there were 2 survivors. What you're supposed to do under international law, you are supposed to take those fighters as war criminals, prisoners of war, and you're supposed to give them refuge and you're supposed to take care of them, and then you are supposed to put them into a court of law. Instead, I can't speak to
a court of law and then bail them out and then set them up in Section 8 housing and fuck you. Listen to the liberal take. They blow up a boat. 2 people miraculously survive and they're floating in the fucking water. And there's now allegations. I don't know if it's true or not. I don't care. Personally, I think great. Yeah, get rid of them. That orders were given to kill them. And now everyone's saying this is a war crime. A war crime. That there are certain ways we're supposed to handle prisoners and this and that. Yeah, if there's a war. If there's a war going on. This is combating terrorism. These are soldiers, American soldiers, combating terrorists. What's the difference? You bring drugs into this country, it's killing our young people mostly. What do we need? Congressional approval for a state of war to exist between us and Venezuela? I don't know. I don't think we have a problem with Venezuela per se. I think we have a problem with the drugs coming out of Venezuela. I think we have problems with some aspects of the Venezuelan government not doing what they're supposed to be doing to stop it. But if these were indeed Venezuelan soldiers and we were at war with Venezuela and we shot one of their boats and there are survivors that we see in the ocean, I think then the laws, the rules of engagement in war dictate that we must, if possible, it's another thing, if it's not a threat to the soldiers, pick them up and hold them as prisoners of war. If that was the case, then Sunny would have a point to what she's saying. This isn't war. These aren't soldiers we're fighting. So these rules that we have to adhere to in war have no place when you're taking out drug boats on the open seas. But again, facts, truth coming out of the left, especially The View. If you're looking at The View for your political news and what's true and what the rules of engagement are for soldiers, 7 people I heard have said that this is a war crime. 7 unnamed people that Sonny Hostin has heard on The View. It's like so fucking stupid. Who the hell believes this nonsense? Who sits there and watches it and just goes, yeah, Sonny, he's a war criminal. We need like a Nuremberg tribunal and hangings and God damn. This is what we're dealing with.